Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump's Department of Education and NOAA layoffs. Trump has started going after the Education Department, and NOAA is set to take more hits. We're going to go over the news and then answer some questions real quick. The Department of Education was hit with layoffs. It looks like more than 1,000 or so far. But from what we understand, the goal is to fire more than 2,000. It's worth noting that the Department of Education only has about 4,000 employees. Yes, all of those programs, from student aid to civil rights investigations to grants for public schools and so on, were handled by about 4,000 people. Reporting also suggests that they'll be shutting down some of the big offices in New York, Boston, Chicago, and so on. It's unclear whether they're shutting down their current buildings and plan to move, or whether they're ending their presence there totally. NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and oversees the nation's weather services, to include emergency weather programs. It looks like Trump is firing another 1,000 people there as well. That will mean about 1 out of 4 employees has been fired since Trump took office. Representative Jared Huffman, who is the ranking member on the Natural Resources Committee, said, quote, "It means we're going to be less safe. It means there will be all sorts of collateral damage." That's a comforting statement. So, that's the news. Now, on to the questions. First one. Will we still get tornado alerts? As near as we can tell, the Trump administration hasn't selected any particular service by NOAA for elimination. The firings appear pretty indiscriminate. So, this is a lot like what's going on with the PACT Act over at Veterans Affairs. Trump didn't undo the act, but without the personnel, they won't be able to fulfill the mission as well, or maybe even at all. From what we've been able to figure out, it isn't tornado alerts that are most at risk. It looks like the people monitoring for wildfire conditions are being hit the hardest. But that's kind of anecdotal. Next, with them firing everybody at DOE, does that mean student aid is gone? Just a totally off-topic piece of information. In government, acronyms DOE is the Department of Energy, ED the Department of Education. What you meant was clear from context, though. Okay, so again, it's a lot like the VA. Most of the programs education administers were enacted by Congress, so he can't end them unilaterally. But if he cuts staffing, they won't be able to keep up with the workload. Then we have, I have a child covered by IDEA. That's for children with disabilities. If the Department of Education is disbanded, does my kid still get to go to school? So, IDEA was again enacted by Congress. So, the requirement remains. However, without the Department of Education overseeing it, who are you going to complain to? Once it's all charted, and this is the answer to almost every question we got. The staffing levels are the issue, not structural changes at this point. The programs will still technically exist for right now, but they may not be able to handle the workload, at which point the criticism will be that they're inefficient, and they'll probably move to privatize them. There's also a lot of pushback in the courts over this, and we have to see how a lot of that plays out. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.